What's up, everybody? On a Podcast Now Plus, I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk very briefly about Dying Light 2. There was an interview that went up with its lead game designer, and they talked about that there's zero chance that the game is going to be delayed again. So I kind of just want to read a couple quotes from him and talk about it just a little bit. It's good news. This is a good news video, and we'll go from there. So in an interview, this comes from Push Square, by the way, in an interview with MP First, the lead designer, Timon, I think is probably an easier way of just saying his first name, said the following in response to a question about yet another delay. The game is going to be released next year in February, and that's what we focused on. That's what we've worked on. So absolutely zero chance of that happening. The lead game designer goes on to say, explain how polishing open world titles can be extremely difficult since you're actually working on a few games at the same time rather than just one. Because the same game can have so many variants, and some of those variants can be so drastically different, then you have to verify every playthrough, not just 1,000 times, but 1,000 times multiplied by the number of variations in the game. So this is the reason for the delay, and also this is our baby. This is our IP. The Dying Light IP is owned by our studio, so we just knew that we couldn't release the game if it's not ready to release. Honestly, in terms of why, like the reason for it, I actually like that because I think there are different ways of handling it. You'll hear a lot from people, and I don't necessarily think this is happening, but you'll hear from some developers that talk about how, and it's impossible to check everything in a game, right? Ultimately, sadly, and I do think this is sadly, the player base, the people that are actually playing the game day one, they're the biggest testers. They're the best QA people you could ever actually have, because you're just not going to catch everything yourself when you're playing it. I get that, and I understand that. I don't necessarily think that should be the way it works, but I mean that is the way it works, so you can't really argue it, right? But the way that they say, it really sounds like the testing and just, now these are things I think you cannot fail. These are not the same things as like a bug happening at like, the 7 hour and 21 minute mark of the game for a person, a Z. What I mean? Like, it's not the exact same thing. This is, we have to make sure that these decisions that we're making in the game, these player choices, that when they make them, it's not going to catastrophically break the game. And we need to make sure every single option, and every single time you make an option, and every when that option leads to another option, we need to make sure that works. And ultimately, I think that is probably what every game, I don't know why. First game I think of is Days Gone, actually kind of similar in some ways, right? Like, that's just, those things have to happen in those games. But ultimately, very good. I don't know, I don't know if I would have said no to another delay. Like, if they were to delay it again, I don't know if I would be all that mad. I'm gonna buy it day one. I'm gonna play it day one. I'm very, very excited for it. It actually kind of feels almost surreal that it's releasing, just because it's been so long, and I guess specifically if you go back to Dying Light 1, right? And it's coming out, and we've talked about this before, during a very, very busy stretch in February. It's a little less busy now because Saints Row was delayed till August, but you still have quite a few. I mean, Dying Light is one of, let's say, the 3 big games in a 3-week span. You got Dying Light, you got Horizon, Forbidden West, and you have Elden Ring, all within the month of February. So it's gonna, and then you have other games in there as well. Those are just, I would say, the biggest ones. So that's why I don't know, if they said it comes out in April, I don't know if I'd actually be all that mad, because it would just give me more time to play it. But ultimately, I'm gonna find the time. I'm gonna try to play this game as much as possible, and it is good to hear. It's good to hear some positivity. It's good to hear, we're not actually. This is 2 days, at least when I've recorded these. 2 days in a row with somewhat positive information along those lines, like Sifu, right, the martial arts game, that got moved up because they delayed it. They said, well, we delayed it, so now we can actually move it up a little bit because we actually, got more done, or, whatever ended up happening. But, that game is releasing 2 weeks earlier than what it would originally doing with the delay. And now Dying Light, they're saying, we're sticking with it. So that's very, very good to hear, especially during a very uncertain, year and a half in the gaming industry. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all of these videos go up. I do a brand new video on the channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.